Good day, everybody. My name is Ivan Siler. I'm a local entrepreneur and a homegrown theologian, and I'm bringing you this episode in my Brother Ivan page here on YouTube, in the YouTube universe. Boy, 2021, what an interesting year. Plenty to talk about, plenty to think, process, and reevaluate and choose our priorities, right? Hey, so let me just kind of catch up to where we are. During COVID-19, it's been a giant reshuffling of the deck on so many different fronts. As a Christian, as a Judeo-Christian, as a person of God, I've been trying to find out what the role of the church is in my life. Church services were called off, shut down, modified, gone to the internet through Facebook and Roku and all kinds, not Roku, um, what's that, Zoom calls, yeah, Zoom and all those other formats. So we've been having this virtual fake kind of artificial church sort of service. We've all been wading through trying to figure, is this really worth it? And what do I need a bricks and mortar place for? And simultaneously, the culture has been changing very radically, very quickly in 2021. And so we're kind of at a major transition spiritually and culturally here in the United States, which is very exciting and quite entertaining to watch, but also very uncertain. For me, in my stage of life, I had my first Medicare insurance meeting a couple of weeks ago, which I've been in a state of depression and denial ever since then, because this is what old people do. But my gosh, the reality is I turned 65 in July, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm old as crap. What am I going to do? And so, yeah, in one sense, I'm not that old, but in the other sense, we had children later. I don't feel old. I still am trying to be relevant and keep my mind working despite the forces that my body, which is betraying me. So here we are. So I'm trying to figure, as a Judeo-Christian, as a person of God, which is my first calling, in the overall scheme of things in the universe. I started out with God before conception. I became a person conceived in my mother's womb. I've got 64, 65 years here on earth now, and I'm going to wind up with God at the end of it. And so that's kind of my first priority. So I view myself as a person of God. I have to answer to Him for my behavior. He has redeemed me and has given me a great past, present, and future, and I trust Him absolutely with the direction of my life. So I'm a spiritual person. I'm walking with Christ, trying to do this funny little two-step in the goofy culture. But on the other hand, I'm also a citizen of the United States. And I don't know if you've been paying attention. We survived a very divisive election back in 2020 with two really colorful candidates. Well, one more colorful than the other for certain. But since the first of the year, we have had a major political shift. Never in the history of mankind has our country borrowed this much money under the pretense of something else. And our ideology has radically changed without the consent of the people. And so we're finding ourselves in a position not unlike the founding fathers here in 1776, which is about 250 years ago now at this point, where they had to make a decision. Do we continue to operate and try to manage and build our country and our lives around what we want to do, or do we have to be at the beck and call of other people who don't necessarily know what we're involved in and may not have our best interests at heart? So that's the struggle that I'm having in the culture right now. I live in the culture. I'm a spiritual being living in a pagan culture, and I'm not complaining. It's just where we are. I think it's an accurate assessment of the American condition. But the problem is, as I reach retirement years, which I really have no intention of retiring, many of my peers have worked for their 30 or 40 or 50 years, whatever it is, and they've decided, well, gee, now I get to do what I want to do. And that's fair and it's legitimate, and I don't begrudge them for that. But for me, I had children later, which I think have kept me young and semi-relevant. But I have no intention of retiring. I want to go down kicking and screaming and fighting as long as my brain synapses will cooperate and my body continues to pump blood and oxygen. I want to continue to be active and helpful to make the world a better place. So in a sense, I don't think I'm being afforded the luxury of retirement and checking out and serving myself and seeking luxury and doing just what I want to do. We're in a new facility here. Our home has been downsized. It's wonderful. It's a great sanctuary God has given us, but I don't think I have the luxury of retirement, and at least in the traditional sense. God knows I don't want to be stuck at McDonald's with a group of old farts sitting around talking about the good old days and complaining about those youngsters and how they don't have a clue and we're going to hell in a handbasket. I'm not doing that. If you do that, if you want to do that, that's up to you. If you think that's fulfilling and valuable and helpful, have at it. And I'm not doing that. God help me, I'm not doing that. So here's my dilemma. If I'm going to be in this game, the post-19 church and culture, what is my role and what am I going to do? Well, the first problem I have is I have to identify the struggle that's going on inside of my head. I had figured, for me, I've probably got 15 years for sure. If I lived to 80, that'd be a miracle. Frankly, I never thought I'd live this long, but here I am. So the problem I have is I want to be Brother Ivan. I want to be a Christian. I want to focus on the things of God and the goodness and help young Christians work in their marriage and their families and in society and their businesses and be successful and fulfilled and make the world a better place. That's really my heart. I have made some new playmates over the last couple of months since the first of the year. And one in particular has been bugging me about my involvement. He's a political figure in Guilford County, and I knew him before. We're dear friends. We thoroughly enjoy each other's company. But in his prodding, I think I'm being sucked back into the political vortex to contend with the ideologies that are putting us on a road to ruin. And so I have a struggle inside of me. I have church theological godly Ivan over here, and then I have Patriot Ivan over here who feels like I need to engage the culture and address it and do what I can to bring us back to some sort of equilibrium where all voices are heard and all voices have a say-so, but we're not on a path to destruction. I do know this. First of all, never in the history of America have we borrowed so much money. Secondly, we have never been so involved with pandering to pet concerns of a very small slice of the electorate. Third, we've never had completely open borders where we have hundreds of thousands of people swarming into our country and being bussed all over the country and dropped off with no plan, no accountability. We don't know who they are. We don't know what they're doing. They have no visible means of support. And I don't understand the thinking. Well, I understand what I think is going on behind it, but that's my problem. So, in the future, where we're headed with this video broadcast, I know I'm drifting and droning, and I'm getting over a sinus infection. But, so, here's what's going to happen with Brother Ivan. Brother Ivan, I'm going to be doing 2 sets of videos. One set, which is the one I started on, called God Talk, which is unpacking the Holy Bible, the scriptures as we understand them, and the life of God the way I understand it. That is my primary concern. That's my primary calling. Secondly, I feel like there are some issues within the culture I have to address. And so we're going to have Patriot Ivan talk about we're going to call it, instead of God, it's going to be Brother Ivan. I'm your friend. I'm not a hireling of the church. I'm not a politician. I'm a regular tax-paying guy trying to muddle through like everybody else. So on the one hand, we're going to have Godly Ivan over here doing God Talk, and then we're going to have Patriot Ivan over here doing On Culture is going to be the name of these videos. This one I'm going to call On Culture. Brother Ivan On Culture is the name of this video, and I don't know what to call it, although this is a new direction, and I feel like I need to address both because we are spiritual beings living in a pagan culture. And I have to be successful, I believe I have to embrace both. And if you've been paying attention, for the sake of my children and the sake of the future, I think we need to pass down our values, our priorities, our morality that has survived for centuries. We know that it works. We know that it's productive. I'm not dissing anybody else, but I feel called to and feel like I must speak to the issues in the culture, and so that's going to be Brother Ivan On Culture. So that's what's going to happen in the next few weeks and months, Lord willing. And I just wanted to bring you up to date, let you know where I was at. We celebrated our 32nd anniversary. She still likes me, and it shows some tacit approval of my behavior, which is a miracle in itself. But I look forward to sharing my thoughts with you, and then going to in-person meetings, hopefully during the summer and in the fall. There's a couple of platforms we can use for that. This is not a political movement. It's just a bunch of people getting together, trying to enjoy each other's lives and celebrate our successes and failures. But anyway, this is Brother Ivan Siler, signing off tonight. And I hope you have a great week, and I'll be speaking to you soon. I wish you all the best. And I have two things on my radio show. I do a radio show at Guilford College every other Tuesday night, by the way, called Metropolitan Radio. But the way I end my shows, I say, be gentle with yourself and be kind to somebody who doesn't deserve it, because it might be you next time. Anyway, hope you have a great week, and I'll be in touch with you soon. Thanks. Bye.